This one is for the ladies, specifically, all ladies. This is for you. I don't have the answers to everything, trust me. I'm work in progress. I can't say that enough. What I will say is, you don't have to go through the same hardships and lessons that I had to go through. Why? Because I did it for you already. And I got the blueprint of what to do and what not to do. Now, when I talk about evolution, and this is something that you guys have heard me talk about repeatedly, it's not to convince anybody. You don't have to believe I've changed, I'm different at all. What I will say is the evidence of evolution is all around us. There's no being on this earth that doesn't evolve. Every single animal on this earth evolves. And that's what we should constantly be doing as human beings. It's like that show, The Walking Dead. If you take that concept of being walking but dead, to me, that's symbolic of stagnation. Doing the same thing every single day is good if you have the formula to success. But there are other categories of your life that you need to evolve. And so, yes, develop tendencies and habits that work for you. But there's always going to be room for fine-tuning. There's always going to be room for growth. And I know part of the problem, and this message really is for all ladies, a lot of us, not just black women, a lot of us grow up in single-parent households. And I think that that's part of where we develop our mentality of who we are as women, the necessity of men, or the lack thereof. If you see your mother do it all, right? Be the breadwinner, and she's raising the children, and she's cooking the food, and it'll make you question, even before you're even, old enough to formulate words, it may make you question the necessity of a man. And growing up, if you carry that with you, don't think that men don't feel that energy. Everyone wants to feel valued. Everybody wants to feel special. Everybody wants to feel like what they have to say is of importance to some degree. And it's not, being like old school or being archaic to sometimes acknowledge that your partner could teach you something. There's nothing wrong with not always having the last word, not always talking, sometimes quieting down and listening and saying, you know what? I may not agree right now, but let me have some quiet time and let that marinate. Let me think about that and let that sit in, because he, knowing that I've attracted, somebody that loves me, he's not going to be saying things that are not for my best interest. And in order to get to that place where you can say confidently that you know that you've attracted somebody that loves you, you may need to have to go on a journey of refinement. How do you do that journey? It's various ways, but one thing I will say is one of my favorite YouTubers, she's more than a YouTuber, Kendra Justine, Pretty Boss TV. I'm about to subscribe to her on Patreon. She's wonderful. I love her, love her, love her, love her. She's one of my favorite people on social media. And she's so committed to the empowerment of all, but really the empowerment of ladies. And she's so positive, she's upbeat, she's honest, she's real, she's a mentor, she's bright, she's an entrepreneur, she's a boss, she's just awesome. She has her own online boutique where she's selling clothing. But what I love most about Kendra is the fact that she's a believer, and how much she rides for God is just, to me, so beautiful. And so we both know that that's the ticket. That's how you win. Because although when we go back to the conversation of stagnation versus evolution, and we're here to be evolutionary beings, I cannot describe God's transformative powers, how literally he can take one person and make them into a whole new person if he wants to. And what does that mean with the renewal? And I shouted out Kendra because she actually inspired me to have this conversation. What does renewal mean? What does it mean to be renewed? What does it mean for a revival and a renewal? Well, you can look identical, but you've renewed your mind. You've renewed your perspective. You've renewed your mentality. You've renewed your eyes. You've even renewed your mouth, the things that go in it and the things that come out of it. You've renewed your heart. You've renewed what you choose to do with your time, what you choose to pay attention to, and what you choose to focus on. How is this applying in my life? Or how could this apply in your life? Ladies, have you ever ran into an ex and you're just like thinking in your mind like, wow, this was a man that I once lost sleep over. Like, this was a man that I cried my eyes over, just cried, just sobbed and wept. I mean, my heart was like shattered and just broken over this man. And then you're looking at him and you're just thinking about like, that was me. Wow. And no dig at the man, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to male bash. But really, it should just be a reminder of your evolution. You see, when God comes into your life, the things that once appealed to you will no longer appeal to you. And that's in every sense. So yes, you may have gone for this type of guy before, but you're not even attracted to him anymore because he just does not fit the new you. And that is evolution. That's how you can be a testament to God's work. Evolving means what was a priority to you before is no longer a priority. So we'll go back to the conversation of relationships, dating, partnerships, mates. You may formerly have wanted a guy who was glitzy on the outside. Maybe he, was, had a nice car, looked, a certain way or dressed a certain way. And those were the things that you really prioritized, like, oh, he's got swag, and I like that he talks to me nice, and his cars fly, and I like how he dresses, and he always knows what to say. He's charming, he's charismatic. Those things are cool. Those qualities are cool, but the new you, that might not be enough. Just saying the right words and some charm, and putting on a nice outfit it may not be enough. You might need a person who can stimulate you mentally. You may need somebody who you can actually learn from, right? As much as you are a girl's girl and you're like, yeah, women empowerment, and you talk the talk, but you might meet somebody who makes you be quiet and you just want to listen because they have a lot to offer mentally, and that might be a part of their appeal. A lot of times as ladies, because we grow up as nurturers and naturally, because our bodies are meant to hold children, we are child bearers, we have compassion, we have sensitivity. Men do hurt, their feelings do hurt. But I think that ladies' feelings are a little bit quicker to get hurt. I think that we are a little bit more sensitive, typically, generally. And so, and that's natural because of, the fact that we are supposed to bond with our children, bond with our babies. And so when you meet an individual who can actually not just feed your heart, but be a recipient of your love, there's something to say about that. We live in a very damaged society. And so to meet somebody who's healed sometimes can be a journey because most people are damaged. We live in a society that breeds damaged people. You might have attracted a partner whose collection of experiences equated in their mind to good women don't exist. All women are hoes. They don't deserve respect. Women are gold diggers. Whatever damage they've accrued in their life, the idea and ideals that they project on to women, you might have just met somebody and that's their mentality. And so you may be the opposite of all of those things. You may not be a gold digger. You may not be, all of the things that they have equated with who women are. You might just be a good girl. But there's this idea of confirmation bias. It's a psychological term that it's like, I'm so committed to this preconceived notion that women are all this way, that the only thing that I'm going to scrutinize and see in you is things that confirm my preconceived notion. It's a psych term, confirmation bias. Look it up. And so you want to attract somebody who has not been so programmed to believe women are all one way and is not just giving love, because a lot of times women say, I just want a man to love me. I want a man to nurture me. Of course, yes, that's natural, yes. But do we ask the question, is that man able to receive your love? Has that man been so damaged and he's so closed off to the possibility of love that he can't even receive love? Love could come and smack that guy right in the face and he wouldn't even be receptive to it. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times it's not just, people don't just wound you. And I think that that's something that women need to understand, that a lot of times your heart may be shattered by the idea that this guy stepped out on you or emotionally abused you or neglected you or didn't treat you the way that you are deserving to be treated. Your self-esteem might be wounded because of those things, but seldom do we take into consideration, ladies, that maybe it was him that was not receptive to receiving love. It wasn't me. It's not a reason to hate men. It's not a reason to stop giving love. It's not a reason to to stop nurturing. It's not a reason to be angry. It's just as simple as, hopefully he will evolve to a point where he will be open and and able to receive love. You know what I'm saying? So you have to also renew your mind, renew your perspective, and renew your heart, recalibrate. I said this before, recalibrate your heart. Back to the conversation of renewal and even taste buds. Food is love. What are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding your mind loving music? You know what I'm saying? And I'm giving advice, but again, I can revisit this conversation. Like, there are certain YouTubers that I like. I'm not going to call them out, but I like them a lot. And I deliberately will not listen to them on a regular basis because the next second, as soon as I'm clicking off, I'm ready to write a song about killing people. Like I have, like writing songs like real like going there. You know what I'm saying? So music, the same thing. We have to always be cognizant of what we're tuning into, the type of music that we're listening to, the type of rhetoric that we're listening to. What are we feeding our minds? What are we feeding our bodies? That's an act of love, right? It's an act of love to put things that are good for you inside of you. And you notice, like in my article, Bag Lady, it's not about eating a lot of food. You can eat all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to periodically fast, but if you're eating the right things, you're eating fruit, you're eating vegetables, you're eating, you know what I'm saying? But the very fact that you're gravitating towards things that are destroying you is an indicator that there is some healing that needs to be done. When you're gravitating towards men that destroy you, when you're gravitating towards foods that destroy you, when you're gravitating towards music that destroys you, you know what I'm saying? And you're into it. You're attracted to it. You're attracted to that low vibration. You're attracted to low vibration people. Look at your sister circle, the girls around you. What do they talk about? Some days just observe. Some days you go out with your homegirls, just be quiet and just listen. Okay, she's always doing this. She's always saying this. She's always focusing on that. She's always focusing on that. She's always talking about this. She's always talking about that. Just observe. Some days don't be a participant, just be an observer. And then go home and in your quiet time say, maybe it's time for new friends. Maybe it's time for the type of friends that make me feel uplifted. Maybe it's time for the type of friends that we spend our time talking about businesses, building each other up. We spend our time talking about the power of the Most High. You know, we spend our time loving each other like sisters rather than gossiping about each other and being mean to one another and try to tear each other down. And you can pray for them from a distance and say, I hope that they get to a point where they evolve, that they don't even gravitate towards those things. And that's really what it comes down to when you renew, when you are renewed. You won't even be attracted to the type of men that you formerly were attracted to. You won't even want to spend your time the same way that you used to spend your time. It just won't be a vibrational match. You'll be in an environment and you'll just be like, I don't fit in here. This doesn't fit the new me. I'm out. I'm gone. The foods that the idea of me having something like a hamburger, you know, I'm plant-based. I'm not eating that crap. Like, I couldn't even put one in my mouth. And so when you continuously practice active self-love, everything in your life is going to shift towards that. It's going to shift towards, you're only going to want love around you. You're only going to want things that feed your love brain, that feed your heart. You're only going to put love food inside of you. And it's a process. But people want to know, you know, how to do it. You know, I suggest subscribe to Kendra Justine. Subscribe to me too, you know what I mean? But definitely Pretty Boss TV has workshops. She has so many things that she does for the ladies, healing things. And there's women that are doing, you know, Queen Afua is doing retreats. And, you know, there are healing circles. And there are so many mentors that you can seek. Even with COVID, you can look online and find advisors, women that will take you under their wings and help you heal and assist you. Until next time, peace.